Jesus fucking Christ.
Episode 5, folks. Welcome. Surprised we made it this far. The bullshit that we've been going through. Anyways, welcome to episode 5. I am Tom, and I'm joined today with Quinn, as always.
Hello. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
You had, guys, Tommy had the worst trip down here to Niagara on the Lake. Why don't you tell him about it? Because we were just dying laughing before we hit record, so I need some time to gather my body.
So, yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, it was I live in Fenwick, and Quinn's in Niagara on the Lake, so it's about a 45-minute drive. I agreed to meet somebody just outside Niagara on the Lake campus, Niagara College campus. So as I reached about automotive warehouse, I realized I forgot a couple things, like my laptop, which we need for this. So met the guy, we did our deal. I'd sold some lights. Then I had to drive all the way back home to Fenwick, which is about a half an hour. Got my laptop, started making my way back here, and about 5 minutes in, realized we forgot some more cables, so had to make another drive back. So in all, it was about a 2.5-hour drive to Niagara on the Lake.
Yeah, we upgraded our equipment here, so we've kind of been learning as we've been going through this, and we upgraded our stuff to some higher quality stuff, and it, has a lot of moving parts to it now. This has turned into quite the production.
We're committed at this point, I think.
I think we're really into it now. So hopefully you guys are into it too. If not, we're just, like I said at the beginning, it's just two guys hanging out.
Yeah, really, and I think the sound is a lot better.
I think so too.
Yeah, we've really upgraded stuff, so hopefully everybody enjoys it. How was your week?
It was okay. How was your week?
My week was, I just got back from the UK, nice. And that was a fantastic trip. Yeah, and if you've never been to the UK, it's definitely a place to go. Specifically, we went to Wales. So that's on the west coast there of Britain. But it was great. The weather, from what I understand, was a lot better there than it was here. So we were like between 15 and 20 degrees and pretty much sunny every day.
Yeah, it was a little cold and a little rainy here while you were gone. Yeah, so you didn't miss much.
Yeah, so I brought a pair of shorts, and my wife, who's from Wales, said we definitely won't be needing that, and I managed to wear them twice.
Nice.
So it was the one day we went to the beach out in Tenby, and it was a beautiful day, and it was hot because I wore this hoodie, jeans, and it was like I was soaked.
Really?
I was soaked. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Tommy is like a world traveler, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know this, but you do travel quite a bit for yourself.
Yeah, but we only go to the same spots. It's either Vegas, Florida, or the UK.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah,
that's kind of our top 3, but we're hoping to kind of expand that.
Yeah,
hopefully this year. How about you?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we just got I just did the Caribbean thing a few weeks ago. So it's kind of hit or miss. No, but this week was, it's funny because we always talk about the same thing, but when the weather is not cooperating the way it's supposed to, people are so driven by the weather.
Yeah.
Like when it's sunny, the phone rings, and then when you get a couple days where it's a little cooler and it's a little rainy for 3 days, it's just nothing. And that always surprises me. I don't know why, but it really just always surprises me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was telling Lindsay, I'm like, wow, like our June is. May I took some time off, so it's kind of scattered. But our June is usually we're like a month ahead, booked up, and like this year it seems pretty slow. So I was telling him like, oh man, it's we don't have much lined up in June, and it never fails. Anytime I say something like that, the next day, and then the following week, it's like all of a sudden emails come in for some quotes or. You get texts or whatever it is, messages and stuff like that. So hopefully the June looks a little bit better. But anyways, that's it.
Well, yeah, we got some big projects in the mix. We got some things kind of down the feeder pipes, so we'll see what comes of it.
Excellent.
But in the meantime, touching on our episode last time, I think me and you discussed.
Wait, hold on. Is there any point to even pointing out what we're smoking today? Because we've pretty much been smoking the same stuff.
How many of those Grand Reserves do you have left?
After this one, 3.
Okay, so
it's a damn good cigar. It's not that I don't want to go out and get anything else.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't exactly have time.
So by episode 8,
well, I should
9,
at least episode 9. I should have something new, hopefully.
Well, I'm smoking a tobacco again.
Oh, there you go.
I'm actually kind of cheesed because these little ones, these little tobaccos, I really like them. I call them 20-minuters. They're just enough for when the wife gets mad at you. You can smoke one, and by the time you come in, she's probably over it. And I go to the cigar store, and I cannot find these tins, okay? These tins. I love these tins. And I'm looking around. He always had these tins. And I'm looking around. I'm like, where the hell are these tins, right?
You're talking cigar experience?
Yeah. So then I'm looking, and then I find the tins open, okay? Like the tins open presenting the cigars like so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, you sneaky bastard. So I closed the tin, and I took all the cigars because I buy them by the tin, right? And I said, well, why are you doing that with the tin? And the guy goes, well, it saves some for everybody else. And I'm like, well, just bring more tins in. So anyways, I stole the tins. So if anybody's looking for the tobacco special,
just come
tiny
see Quinn.
ones,
Come see Quinn.
I got them. I'm the tobacco plug, as the kids say.
Beautiful.
But so you're probably doing the Grand Reserves. I'm doing the tobaccos. Nothing new here.
No, it's good. I generally tend to stick with what I like. I do, like, if I get bored of something, I'll kind of go out and just buy a smorgasbord of random stuff. But for the most part, if I like something, I'll stick with it until I'll get tired of it. So.
Yeah, me too, man.
Wonderful. So what do you want to talk about today? Episode 5.
Episode 5.
So just to recap, we did episode 1 was kind of the 5 pillars of a great detailer, what to look for.
Yep.
Episode 2 was the truth about coatings. Episode 3 was the truth about paint correction, and last week's episode was the wow factor and then protection. Well, basically, now that you've got your car clean and corrected and whatever, what's the best way to protect it? What would be kind of what we can fall on as the next topic?
Well, I mean, I think something that can kind of hit both and even consumers that are looking at these kinds of things. And when you go to a professional grade shop that's charging premium price, I think we can talk about the different types, paint techniques, hard paint versus soft paint, kind of what it is. And because not every manufacturer is the same. Not every paint is sprayed the same on every manufacturer. The amount of paint's different. Waterborne versus, even the old classic cars were single stage, stuff like that. So I think it's important that if we touched on that, people will kind of understand that maybe there's a lot more involved than just, polishing a car. There is stuff involved in polishing a car, but knowing that there's different kinds of paint, I think, is going to help you find value in the job that you're getting done. So,
and a lot of people seem to think like, well, they I guess some people don't grasp the concept of soft paints versus mid or hard paints, right? So, I mean, to put in perspective and just kind of put it in layman's terms, soft paint is essentially, the paint itself. It's not the paint itself. It's the clear coat. And it's the let's say the reducer, the additives and everything, the hardeners that they put into it. And it's the benefits is that it can correct out a lot faster, a lot easier than, let's say, hard paints, but it's a lot easier to scratch. So Tesla paint, that's a well-known paint that, is very, very soft. If you have a perfect panel and you just take a finger and you just kind of swipe it and you got dry hands, you've got a mark. You've got marks there. On the other hand, hard paints, for instance, they're a lot more resilient to scratches and marring, things like that. But they're also a lot harder to correct out. So, to each their own. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the soft paints I enjoy working. I mean, even like Tesla paint, I've corrected Tesla with the softest pad and just water, and just kind of let the pad do its work and without any compounds. So
yeah, and I guess the first point we should touch on is not all paint types are the same, and why does that matter? You know, why does it matter what kind of paint you have on your car, whether it's soft, medium, let's say hard? Why is that important to somebody?
you know what? If you know you have soft paint, I mean, I guess the first step is figuring out what type of paint you have. Generally you'll know, or somebody will tell you. I mean, if you buy a Porsche, you buy a Ferrari, like it's kind of a known thing, right? Within those communities. Soft paints, what's the first thing you generally do is you PPF the whole thing, right? Especially on like a Ferrari, like I said, or something like a Lamborghini, something that has, very susceptible paint or susceptible areas that can get chipped up with the paint.
And do you think more there's certain manufacturers that have like what's an example maybe of an everyday car that 90% of people go out, let's just say Chevys, let's say Chevy truck. Is there specific brands that really stick out to you in the softness category? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Chevy Black, especially that 06 to whatever 12 or whatever it is, that Chevy Black.
Even to the newest, even to the newer gens, I think it's, you can take the softest pad, softest polish, and you're still going to get some type of marring on it unless you have a perfectly clean pad. But for me, it's like the older, let's say mid 2000s Mercedes paint. I found that to be quite soft.
Really?
Then you've got Porsche, which is actually quite soft. I guess it depends on the model. It depends on where it's done too, because it's so subjective too. Like you may think it's something soft when actually it's hard, but it depends what you're using, right? So
yeah. So I guess what we're trying to say is that different manufacturers offer their own types of paint, and even the color pigmentation of that paint will affect the softness, versus it maybe not. But
if it's a single stage, I guess.
If it's a single stage, yeah. I guess where I was going with that, if it's black, you probably may give you the inclination that it's softer because you're going to see the marks quicker than you're going to see on like a white.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm trying to go with it, is maybe a white isn't necessarily harder of a paint. It's just you're not noticing the defect as quickly on a black car. So, the color kind of plays a trick with you on that one too, for sure. What does the paint type affect you as a detailer when coming to correct? Like, for instance, you have, let's say, a new BMW. I found they're pretty stout paint wise. So how are you attacking a softer paint? Are you adding a step, taking away a step? Like, how are you attacking different things?
When generally, I mean, if it's a light colored car like a silver or a white, I'll be straight out with the customer. I'll say, listen, you may not even need a paint correction. I mean, if it depends on the scenario, but if they're getting a coating, we're going to refine it anyways. We're going to go quickly over it with a polisher just to clean up the paint surface. We're not looking at removing all the defects because it hides it so well, right? And they totally understand that. Some of the reason why they get a lighter color car is for that reason. When it comes to darker cars, I'll generally try to, I usually use the less aggressive step first, and then.
So you start soft, or
I always start
aggressive and increase.
Yeah. I'll always start with like a soft pad, or a mild polish, and then just do a quick area. Sometimes for the customer, if they have time for me to just kind of, test it out for them. Other than that, I never guarantee anybody 100%. Because it's like I said before, you're not going to get it. But you can get a pretty darn good finish from just a one step or just a mild polish, and like especially if it's a newer car. If it's a newer car, it's going to be a lot easier. If it's like a 20, 30-year-old car, you got to kind of assess it as is. But
so when you have somebody come in with soft paint, are you more inclined then to be restrictive on the amount of refining that you're going to put into it, because you're taking away, it's going to respond a lot differently? So do you don't refine near to perfection as much as you would a harder paint vehicle, because you got more meat on the bone to kind of play with? Or do you kind of dumb it down and say, listen, we're going to stop here because it's a softer, like you as your person, not necessarily talking to the client. I don't think that they'll differentiate, but you as the detailer, are you kind of dialing back those steps and maybe not going through the full Monty?
Yeah, the softer the paint, you're going to be taking more material off a lot faster than like with a harder paint, right? So that's another kind of caveat to it. It's not that I'll generally not do as much to a softer paint, because you don't have to do as much for kind of a softer clear coat. Mm-hmm. Harder clear coat, you can hammer it a little bit more and it'll be a little more resilient, but then you got to watch, because then you could potentially get your marring from a dirty pad or something just build up in the pad. And if that's the case, then you're going to be adding extra steps that you don't really need to add to that, and removing material you don't really need to remove. And so
so I guess it's important to note that I always say it to my clients too sometimes when I see them. I said, you have soft paint, it's good for me, bad for you. It's good for me as the detailer and business owner, because I'm going to be able to correct this car a lot faster. I'm going to be able to turn it around, get it into your hands. I get to use less aggressive means to do it. It's a faster turnaround time, less skill necessarily involved in doing it when you get to a point where you know what you're kind of dealing with.
Yeah.
So the biggest takeaway for people is soft paint is something that needs to be cared for, totally differently than that of a harder paint car. To say that, I think rock chips are still going to hit hard paint the same way they're going to hit soft paint. We're not saying that, but just day-to-day marring, bug guts, bird
love
droppings,
marks from washing, right? I mean, you're going to get it regardless. So
yeah, and I think that's really it's also with soft paint. Let's talk about the inexperience. Like, let's talk about our cheap options out there. They're more at risk to burn through soft paint.
Yep.
Like, I just had a Roush Mustang come to me, and the guy had some stone chips on the hood, and he tried to fix them with a paint pen, and he globbed it on there with a big old brush mark. You know how it is when you have those stupid pens, right? So it really bothered him. And I said, well, your best bet is, go somewhere. We don't have the time to do it here. And this guy is extraordinarily of a picky client. So I said, we can't really have time to wet sand and blend that in for you. So if you get time during the wintertime, maybe bring it to a body guy, see what they can do. So we polished and coated that Mustang last summer. So I know what kind of paint it is. And it's an 07 Roush. It's a silver color.
Yep.
So he takes it to a body shop. They, skim it down and wet sand it, blend it. And right on the edge of the hood, don't they burn through the paint with a buffer, right? So it's soft paint. So they're more inclined to do the burn through. And then he came to me. It's full of holograms, the typical
body shop.
Typical body shop thing. And he
not all body shops, but
not all body shops, but they make it look good and inside, and that's kind of really it. So he comes to me, he says, hey, what can we do with this? What's this mark? And it's like, well, that's a burn through, right? And it kind of looks like a melted divot, kind of, in a way. The metallic is all, it looks terrible. And that's just a perfect example of soft paint in the hands of somebody, that's trying to refine to that degree. The risk of burn through is immense. So you have to make sure that, once again, the technician, the detailer that has that tool in his hand, is capable and knows the difference between hard versus soft, and microfiber or wool versus, a polishing pad.
So what? Okay, so to the everyday daily drivers out there, or like the the weekend guys that just want to bump around in their cars, how do they know if they have soft paint or hard paint?
Well, I think the first giveaway is looking at it. Just look at how you've washed it up into now. Is it full of swirls? We know those kind of cars. You can see them, right?
Mm.
Is it full of swirls? Does it look like it's had a hell of a time with you just doing basic washing on it? The brands really too dictate a lot. I find, I don't know about you, but I find, I know there's people out there that says Japanese cars have soft paint. I don't know if that would be necessarily true to me. I always find the domestics, other than Ford, I think the domestics really have soft paint. Chrysler blacks are soft. Obviously the Chevy black, some of the reds even are pretty soft. So you can kind of know just based off of basic washing maintenance. Is it full of love marks? Is it full of swirls? Pull your car out into the sun, look at it at that 45-degree angle, and just see.
Seeing everybody on their knees and looking up at their panels from the sun. I know one thing too. A lot of the manufacturers, I guess it's hit and miss, but I know Chevy stands out because, for instance, like the Chevy Cruze, they have horrible orange peel, absolutely horrible orange peel, and that takes away from everything on the car, right?
Yeah, once you have the orange peel, there's not really much you can do about that. I guess it depends if the orange peel is in the base layer or the clear layer.
Well, it'll be in the clear, but I mean, I think I've had more than I'm surprised how many people have contacted us about wet sanding factory paint, and we generally won't go there to remove peel.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's danger bait.
We can measure it, and if it's an older vehicle, you gotta a few extra mils there, but it's really.
And that's a perfect case of something that's just not applicable for day-to-day driving use.
Yeah, exactly. And it's their daily driver. It's like why bother? You know what I mean?
You get that flat, and the flatter it is, the more it's gonna the more room for error is,
and the more defects are gonna show up.
Oh my
right?
God!
Maybe that's the whole ploy behind.
I mean, it would look like mad props to the dude out there. Or a lady, I should say, that's driving a completely flat 2026 Duramax, let's say, or just flat, just like show truck flat.
Mm-hmm.
I would applaud them, because that's gonna take some love, ceramic coating or not. That's gonna take some love to keep that thing looking that way. But the orange peel is a big thing with today's manufacturers. We touched on it a little bit on a previous episode, just how they paint them and how the robots and the nozzles are so efficient at getting 100% coverage with doing the least amount of passes. And if you look at any modern day car on the front, you're going to see more rock chips than ever and rashing. Like the paint's just looking dull.
Just dull. Yeah. Like I know the G35s and the G37s, those bumpers just rash to hell. And you can PPF it and it'll look fantastic, but that's a big issue anyways.
Yeah, no, 100%. So it's something to keep in mind, just for people out there, that every car paint is going to react different. It's going to have different hard, it's going to be softer, certain brands, single stage. Let's talk about single stage. I don't know about you, like right now I got a 55 Bel Air back here, a 36 Packard in the back room. These are, maybe not the Bel Airs, probably not single stage, but back in the day, they would have been single stage cars. What is single stage paint? Why is it different than modern paint?
Single stage paint's just a lacquer, right? So it's essentially just the, in layman's terms, clear coat and the pigmentation all kind of mixed into one, sprayed on the vehicle. So what you're looking at is the actual pigmentation. There's no actual clear coat protectant layer over top of it. You could take just if you ever wanted to know what kind of paint you have, you can just take a little bit of take a rag, a little bit of polishing compound or something, just go kind of in an inconspicuous area, just rub it a couple times, and if the paint comes up or the pigmentation comes up on your rag, you've got single stage paint.
Yeah.
Versus obviously clear coat is, it's not gonna, nothing's gonna come off.
And as a detailer, as for us too, our approach is gonna have to be different, because now we're not polishing, playing within the clear coat layer. We're now polishing the actual color. So mistakes now that you do during the polishing process, you're removing paint, you're removing color off that car now.
I prefer single stage, especially when it comes to wet sanding and polishing, because you take measurements and you're not worrying about how much clear, how much pigment, how much primer, and so on. It's how much pigment and how much primer. You know what I mean? Like, you can ballpark it. Yeah. Like if you're good at it, you can actually ballpark how much primer. But or you can get a really good like $5,000 to $8,000 paint gauge, and it'll kind of separate those areas for you. But it gives me a better indication as to how much is there.
And personally, I think some of the best projects we've done here have turned out to be single staged paint. Just the finish, the warmth, the depth, the overall picture is it's like 4K compared to 1080p with a clear,
because it's the color. You're looking at the color itself. There's no
in its truest form,
in between layer. Yeah, exactly. Like you're looking at it. There's no in between layer between your eye and the actual color. I mean, the clear coat obviously is meant for protection. It's meant to protect the paint underneath. It does give, I feel, a little bit more gloss. I mean, you can get single stage paint pretty damn glossy, but I mean, I feel like clear coat will give you just that little bit extra gloss. But in terms of that warmth, it's like applying a hand wax. It's just get that nice look to it.
It does have a fantastic look to it, and they're easier to correct in a way too. So for people with single stage paint, yes, they're easier to correct, but your room for error is a little more tighter than with a clear coat car.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, like, what is the point of, like, why did they come up with clear coat, in your opinion? What is the point of clear coat on a modern car, and why did they switch from single stage?
Well, clear coat is your protectant, right? So, and I think a lot of it has to do as well with the chemicals in the actual single stage. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to get a video of this. Do it.
You have to see how large this flame is. It's literally like a foot long. I don't know what I did. I filled it up.
The camera caught it perfect.
Did it?
Yeah.
I literally filled it up with like JP 105 jet fuel butane. I don't even know. It never was this bad. I filled it up once, and it's just given me, no pun intended, but all the smoke at every pull. So my apologies. So if you hear the afterburner, it's just me trying to light up another tobacco.
Oh, we got to watch this. Jesus. Oh, it was beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh,
but especially with everything going on in the world right now with fuel, that makes me feel better. Like, that's nice.
That's your $1.50 right there.
It's better than putting it in my truck. That's absolutely horrific on fuel.
I can imagine. But so back to the, why go from single stage to clear coat. Now, you can still get single stage. I mean, you can still paint cars single stage. It just more for the longevity of it. Clear coat will last a lot longer. Your single stage paints, they're going to oxidize over time, depending on the environment they sit in. They're going to oxidize because it's exposed to everything. So a couple of different ways. Obviously, you kind of exfoliate or you polish the oxidation off. You can coat it. You can PPF it. The only thing with PPF on top of single stage paint I found is it can still oxidize underneath. So there's still a little bit of oxidation there. You can actually still oxidize underneath the PPF. It won't take as long, but you'll know when it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my answer.
Yeah. So I guess in all, it comes down to not every paint scenario is the same scenario. And that's for listeners with vehicles. It's for business owners, detailers to apply it, to teach their teams. Is there's not a one size fits all approach. You can't use, the same wool regime to microfiber regime to polishing pad regime, the same compounds, whether you're using a heavy cut versus medium cut versus a polish versus a jeweling agent, whatever you have on there. Every unique car is going to be unique, even from exact same model to exact same model. I've even had it where, you've had a Honda Civic, blue Honda Civic, and it was totally different than the exact same blue Honda Civic 2 weeks later that was a year newer. Each individual project is different. So although the pricing is try to be maintained throughout, some cars just require a lot more expertise. They require a lot more step back kind of thinking. You talked about refining, not necessarily to the same point as you would refine, something with heavy defect if it has softer paint, because you were physically removing more clear coat off that paint work. So you want to kind of keep enough meat on there. And it all goes back to the same, number one episode with the 5 pillars. You just have to have the integrity and make sure the person you're choosing has the integrity to sit there and say, hey, you got a soft paint vehicle. Maybe we should look in the paint protection film. Maybe we should, I can only polish to this degree, because anything more than that is going to be, a little more detrimental to the paint work.
And even if you do polish, I mean, it's going to look great for, maybe a year, a couple of years, 3 years. But at the same time, it's just you're going to have that clear coat failure or, delamination at some point because you've taken off too much. The UV rays are going to get it. Just you washing it, doing whatever is just going to get to it. So,
yeah. And it comes down to it's the same recipe. You're just adjusting the ingredients and the heat to make your dish.
Yeah,
kind of the same kind of approach with vehicles. So,
that's why it's hard to sometimes price out vehicle. Like maybe people think that, it's just one price fits all. And in most cases, it could, it should.
Yeah.
If a detailer knows what they're doing, they know they're kind of where they're going to do better. You know what I mean? Like where it's going to come out better versus where it's not going to come out as good.
Yeah.
And just relay that to the clients, and you should be fine.
And a lot of that comes with experience too.
Absolutely,
you can kind of, you see a car come down, you can kind of gauge where you're going to be at with it before it even comes in. But learning the paint types, hard, soft, single stage, base clear, it's going to save you time, it's going to save you frustration, and it's going to allow you as a business owner to take your best approach right off the hop, rather than, other than the surprise jobs, but other than you having to guess and start at stage one. Eventually you'll kind of get the gist of it. So understanding the paint types is just, it's such a big thing for a detailer and for the consumer to ask that detailer, hey, is this hard paint? Is this soft paint? We do a lot of bikes, and Harley paint is notoriously soft. It's terribly soft.
CVO paint I found to be, I guess it's a little bit harder, but it's custom paint too.
Yeah, you get those custom, especially the CVOs. They really like the
glitter,
the metallic in it, the flake,
metallic,
and that helps hide a lot of stuff too. We find too, like the Harley Black is just it's next level, and the other thing with Harleys too that a lot of people like, we do a lot of bikes. I have 2 bikes here right now, and we do a lot of bikes, but the biggest thing with the bikes is the substrates are affecting the finish of the paintwork. So, for instance, on the bottom of a Harley, right where the rad is on the lower part of the bike, that's a painted plastic.
Yeah.
If you, let's say, have a black bike and you hit that the same way you hit the fairing or even the gas tank, fairing's plastic, gas tank's metal, saddlebag's plastic, fenders are metal. So if you hit that plastic piece, especially that plastic piece at the bottom, it will haze and you will never get it out. And it's getting worse and worse. So the substrate, I don't know if it's something during the manufacturing process. I don't know if it's just having a hard time, making it last to it. But the substrate of these bikes is something that you really need to take into account now.
Yeah, and not only bikes, but if you ever notice too on like pearl colored or like white pearl cars, Escalades pops into my mind. They have those tri-coats. Look at the bumper versus look at the rest of the car. That's the substrate obviously is different. You got metal versus
they're like
plastic.
Different
it's like
colors.
different colors right from the factory.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, oh, the bumper was repainted. And no, that's kind of how they come generally, right? So
yeah, perfect example. That's a great example.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, understanding your paint and understanding,
and don't be shy to ask a detail. I mean, obviously a reputable detailer, like ask them what they think. Ask them, have a meeting with them and see, is my paint soft or what should I do? That's kind of the first step is to, protect that paint, figure out what it is first, and then figure out what the best way to protect it. Maybe not so much on a daily driver, you got your standard coating and protection, but something like a Porsche or Lamborghini or like a one-off car that you want to make sure you preserve and you still drive it. You don't want to chip it and put the love marks all over it. Make sure you kind of reach out to somebody.
Today, funny enough, today I had a call. A client phoned me today. They live on a dirt road. It takes 6 dirt roads before they get to a paved road. And they just bought a brand new 2026 F-150. And it's this kind of Nardo gray kind of color, the pastel color, right? And he said to me, he goes...
Flat gray, it's not metallic, yeah.
And he goes, what do you think I should do here? Because it's stone. And we literally had the conversation with hard versus soft paint. And in my experience, the F-150s have kind of more harder paint in my experience. So I said to him, listen, luckily enough, you chose a manufacturer that typically has hard paint compared to Chevy or Chrysler that we've worked on. But, it's still not going to stop the rock chips. Nothing is.
Yeah.
But we had that conversation today, and it's a great segue to let him know, where our mind's at. And from that, we can build him a plan. And we ended up building him a plan that's going to yield him the results that fits into his budget. We're going to go with a full front end. We're going to protect your rockers. We're going to protect your kick plates. We're going to protect, your door
all the
cups,
susceptible areas.
And then we're going to coat the rest. So it's going to look good. It's still going to be cost effective, and it's going to give you the best longevity, right? So all that stuff as a detailer, as a business owner, you have to take into account because these are things that you can let the client know about, and it helps them better understand why you're mentioning it, not because you want the sale, not because you're trying to upsell them the PPF because you make more money, because it just naturally makes the most sense for that application.
You're doing what's right for them.
Yeah.
Right? You're picking what's right for them. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know where we are. What time are we
about
on
40 minutes, I think.
Perfect.
I think we've drilled this one pretty good. It was a quick, it's a good topic to kind of go over. I think it was maybe not something that everybody would even think of.
Yeah. And I want to add a side note too, if I may. Yeah. We totally overlooked this. Trailers, baked enamel. That is another beast on its own. We do a lot of. We have a guy. I think we should have him on one time. But we do his race trailer, and baked enamel on these trailers, the chalky, run your hand over it and your hand's white. They're their own beast, and the one he has, I think it's 52 feet, maybe it's 48 feet, 48 or 50, massive thing. And when we correct that for him, the amount of pads we go through, because it just clogs it up, right? So baked enamel on a trailer, it's thin. It's temperamental. It doesn't like to be rubbed on very hard.
Yeah.
Unlike
it's soft.
you.
Well, yeah, so.
But it's soft and it's terrible. Every year.
You know what we do in trailers like that? We do boat coatings. We do a boat coating on it.
Well, that's smart. Yeah.
It lasts a bit longer. It's a lot more resilient than your standard ceramic coating like for paint. Mm-hmm. But it yields way better results on trailers like that. Even if the trailer's got some vinyl wraps and stuff like that on it. I mean, the problem is that once you remove that wrap, you're going to see exactly where.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see
where
that
the coating was, but yeah.
And I find too the enamel paint on the trailers they oxidize brown. You know, it doesn't oxidize like on a kind of. I guess they all kind of look brown, but on a trailer specific, it almost looks dirty, blotchy, and dirty. Yeah. So they're their own beasts. I think we could even do an episode just one time. Just on baked enamel paints.
Probably not.
Because it's
probably not.
No, you don't think people are into that?
No, that's fucking boring.
Okay. I've been overruled. I've been voted off. I don't think it's boring.
We'll let the people.
I have to go polish this thing. It's like fucking. It takes me 3 days to do. It's a nightmare job.
Oh yeah. Well, PPF it. Fuck it.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
You have a 50-foot trailer. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to protect it.
He's not going to like that when he listens to this. And I know he's going to listen to this.
He's your client.
I know. Anyways, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Joey, I love you. It's okay. But, I think that covers all the bases. We will skip the full episode on baked trailer enamel because nobody cares. And, man, I guess we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
All right.
And, we'll talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, so we'll figure out
thanks
some more
for
stuff.
listening, guys.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya. Ciao.
Bye-bye.